The Blue Man show began with three good friends, Chris, Matt, and Phil, who were living in New York City. And they came together and wanted to use their different interests and skills to form a show.
And wanted to create something different for the public.
See something that really surprised you and inspired you.
And be accessible to everybody, not just men, not just women, but kids. They wanted to produce something that anybody can go and watch and enjoy.
The Blue Man has experienced over the past 27 years of developing the show. It's evolved over time, and this world tour is the best of what we've created thus far over the past 27 years. Blue Man character is like an everyman. He approaches everything with a purity, a sense of innocence, fascination, mystical, kind of magical way.
During the interview, they're going to be in there, and then you're going to give them a signal.
Okay, Anton, please come there and make comfort show.
A Blue Man is a naive character who is passionate about music, passionate about connecting with people.
Is blue because other colors may have an association.
I think it's a very neutral colour. The sky is blue, the sea is blue. You know, I think they wanted something that was calming.
That kind of draws people in because there's just something primal inside. And the effect is quite mysterious, so it's kind of hard for us to explain exactly why all that is. It's something that kind of goes beyond words. The makeup process isn't terribly complicated. It takes about an hour. It involves putting a bald cap onto our faces and trimming it. And then the blue makeup is as simple actually as taking this specially made makeup and wiping it onto our face. So there's no mask, it's just the makeup on our faces. The transformation is profound. Even when you're looking at yourself in the mirror and all of a sudden you're covered in blue makeup, it really brings out your inner life, which is really what all masks do, is they bring something out that you normally kind of keep hidden. And that's what the blue makeup does as well. And then also really brings out your eyes, which in English we say is the window to your soul. And that's a way for us to access what's inside of us and let that inner child come out and play. And our eyes are kind of the way to connect and to communicate with the people in the audience.
It was my first visit to Prague and I absolutely love it. And the trip we did yesterday with Blue Men out to the public was just fantastic. The reaction was great.
It's very exciting here because people aren't very familiar with Blue Man Group. There's no backstory here, so it's a fresh, organic experience for us too. We get to see how people genuinely react to us when we're in makeup in the street, which is really fun. Finding a Blue Man is a really interesting process because it's quite challenging and not as easy to find, actually. That's one of the fun parts of the Blue Man character as well, is that everybody who is a Blue Man comes from a very different set of background. The essential elements would be a willingness to explore, a willingness to learn both music and physical theater exercises, a willingness to explore the inner child that we all tend to keep tucked away inside, a willingness to let him out and play.
First, you don't really see the Blue Man, and they start playing something on drums, so they use the drums to communicate, to go like, oh, what happens if I do this? You know, is there a reaction? Can I use this as a mean to communicate? And then we add light and more color, and we add the band. And the Blue Men, they get closer to the people, and the people react. And when they react, that has a big effect on the performance on stage. So this is the connection we try to establish. Maybe really important to know is that we don't really come here to tell you something. In fact, the Blue Man don't say anything.
Because the Blue Man character doesn't speak, he communicates through his eyes, through music, and physical communication.
But they never say a word.
The Blue Man character operates from somewhere closer to his heart, in a more primal place.
But still, the people know what is happening, what is like, and that is the connection that happens. It's kind of like, telepathic in a way.
His overall mission is to help people remember what it feels like to be connected to the people around you. It's amazingly demanding. The crew, everybody who's putting together the show goes through a tremendous amount of work that begins with the plans that we get for the theater.
In Prague, the theatre is a large auditorium and plenty of space to put the show. The creation of the show happens in its very early stages.
All the calculations that have to go to fitting in all of the lights and all of the technology and the paint drums, and there's a tremendous amount of work and design that go into fitting our touring show into each venue, because each venue is very different. So it's really important that we know how to explore each space.
I think the challenges of this job, it's adapting to new spaces, new audiences.
Every show is different because the audience is different, and the audience is, we often say the fourth character, the fourth Blue Man in the show.
We don't just come there and try to do exactly what we do everywhere.
We hope, and we are trying actively to make the show bizarre and unique and different.
We want to connect with the people in a really authentic manner, and to do that we have to really look at the culture there, and sometimes we don't know much about it.
You have to be ready for anything, because really anything can happen.
Like, this is the first time we come to the Czech Republic, and we are really excited to see what's going to happen tonight, because we have no idea.
The Blue Man character is on stage of an hour and a half. So one of the greatest challenges of being a Blue Man is invoking laughter, but not laughing yourself. Because of course, like, whenever you see someone laugh, you always want to laugh with them, or you want to smile. It's infection. Things have to be more fascinating and intriguing than funny.
The music is so original and different and unique. It's played on unique instruments. They create their own instruments.
On this tour we have 6 musicians, 3 drummers and 3 string players.
And they even play original instruments in a different way to create different sounds.
We don't always perform together on stage, because for each show there's 4 musicians and of course the 3 Blue Men.
I think that uniqueness of the music and the comedy and the artistic side of it, because they create art live on stage, and I think people just love that.
When I joined the show, there was still a thing like internet cafes, and everyone was trying to go there, and people didn't really have iPads and things like that. And that had to change drastically, because we also really drastically changed the way we communicate today. Such important pieces of the show that they actually have never changed. But there's a lot of things that has had developments. The inspiration for that comes from the world we live in, the culture we live in. So the first show I played, it probably had a very similar feeling, but it looked and sounded a lot different.
When people come up onto stage and be part of the Blue Men, to be our special guests and join in the show, we have no idea what is going to happen with those people. We have never met those people before, and anything could happen.
One of the things that can always happen in live theatre is that something doesn't happen the way you planned it, and then you have to improvise.
One guy who came on stage, a guest who comes on, and we take them off into the wings, and they have to change their suit. But one of the guys, when we were in Germany, he couldn't understand how to get the suit off, and he kept trying to pull it up over his shoulders, and he couldn't do it, and it was connected on his trousers, and it was the funniest thing. And bless the poor guy, he struggled for about 10 minutes, and I had to help him get out of the suit.
The show is unique for several reasons, I think. The primary one would be the Blue Man character is a unique being in himself, and that he's a mixture of different qualities. The whole production is unique. It's a unique blend of theatrical experience with music, so like kind of a rock concert, a theatrical experience, and technology. How technology affects us and how it affects the way we communicate with each other.
Blue Man Group is unique because they're blue. They don't speak, but they send out a great message, they play amazing music, there's great comedy and humour in the show, and passion comes from these people. And they're very naive characters. But I think people like that vulnerability, and it's very accessible to the public.
That's actually something important to the show. Like every time we finish the show, we will come outside to kind of say hi and goodbye to the people, so they can actually see, oh, I thought maybe, some people think, is this video, is this animation, is it a projection? We want them to meet the real people who just did the show.
This is our penultimate week. So next week we move to Monaco in the south of France, and that is our final week. But we've been touring the show since August last year, and we've been all over Europe. We've been to Saudi Arabia, we've been to Israel, we've been to Switzerland, we've been all over the place. So we've met lots of cultures and tried to move in and mix in with that culture.
I think a big part of what's going to happen, what we're going to see happen down the road in the future of Blue Man, is a lot more world tour. So that's, I think, probably one of the most important and exciting things that Blue Man is focusing on right now.
Just to keep doing what they keep doing, and just keep making new music, original music, creating more art and comedy, and just give the public that enjoyment that they keep delivering time after time.
You know what's great? When you come to a place like Prague for the first time, I hope it's going to be successful and a lot of people can see it, but they have to go home and tell their friends, yeah, I saw Blue Man Group, it was really amazing. So what we have to do is we have to come back. We have to come back to these places, and maybe it'll take a year, I don't know, or maybe two. That's what I want to do, so you can come back, you can meet people that we have met before and say, hey, nice that you're back. And so this is kind of what makes it all so much fun.